How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So glad each and every one of you can make it. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video, and it might make some people mad because whenever you talk about a certain subject, they get their panties in a wad. But Mattel has a serious problem with these, a serious problem, and they know it. Let's talk about it. Again, welcome back to the channel, everybody. So glad each and every one of you can make it. Now, this is a good problem, but a bad problem. And we'll get into all that. I'm going to try not to make this too long. But it has to do with these, okay? Now, this has happened since the beginning of time. And I know there's nothing that we can do about it. But there is something that they can do about it, okay? You create a product. Like when they created the Hot Wheels, you know, to go against Matchbox. They looked better. They rolled a lot faster. They had interior. You know, they looked more like real cars, yada, yada, yada. So people really wanted it, okay? They really wanted them. So they spit them out and everything. It was a wonderful problem to have. Well, you know, with anything good, over time it slows down a little bit. So how do you create a new problem? Or how do you create a new drive for that? By creating a problem, by limiting distribution, by limiting availability. And it happens with everything, like I said, from the Black Friday sales, you know, oh yeah, you got to be here by so-and-so time to get this for such and such time. And you know, you see them you see the videos on TV, on the news, on YouTube, you know, on all the news streams, people fighting over a TV or fighting over the last pair of Air Jordans or over the latest iPhone. They will understand that one. But anyhow, or Tickle Me Elmo. Who remembers the Tickle Me Elmo?
Well, it's this year's Toy Story, a red furry doll that giggles a lot. Tickle Me Elmo is the hottest thing this Christmas. Sold out of stores everywhere. But is it all just marketing and media hype? Here's Jeffrey Kaufman on Elmo Mania.
No wonder he's laughing. All the way to the bank, because North America has been gripped by Tickle Me Elmo hysteria.
Oh boy, that tickles.
Just ask them in Fredericton, where 48 of the bug-eyed beasts were put on sale at a local Walmart. And one of the clerks was sent to hospital after being trampled in the frenzy.
I mean, all it did was shake and vibrate and make noise, you know, when you hugged it or you tickled it. Or the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Welcome to another holiday shopping season. When the doors opened at this Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania store, the pushing and shoving began. One woman was knocked to the floor and suffered a broken leg. This scene has been repeated in hundreds of stores across the country that advertise the Cabbage Patch Kids. The Cabbage Patch Kids are dolls about 16 inches high. They don't walk, talk, wet their pants, or grow hair. They don't do much of anything.
That was a big craze too. The Beanie Babies. I mean, people went crazy. And they do it over everything. But this is a little bit more serious. Okay? They compound the problem with this. It wasn't bad. You know, you've got resellers that will take and they'll do their rounds and try to, on stocking days, they talk to employees, they find out the stocking days, and they try to beat everybody there by being there when they open and stuff like that. And that's one thing, okay? But then you have the scalpers. Now, scalpers, if you don't know what a scalper is going in, buying something like this. This is the treasure hunt. Okay, you can try to get it where you can see the emblem right there. See if you can see it better. Yeah, there it is. You can see it better from the top. It's right above the windshield. The gold flame. They'll buy it for that. Let's say that's a special one. Or let's say, okay, now we have the super treasure hunt. Back then they only had the regular treasure hunts. Everybody and their mother wanted the treasure hunts, but now they have the supers, okay? And we'll get back to that in a second. But scalping is taking said car, back then they were like 97 cents, and selling it for a certain amount more than a fair market value. And the reason it's called scalping, it buy a basketball ticket or a football ticket, baseball ticket, anything like that. Take it to the stadium, stand out front, and try to sell it for 3 times the value and see what happens to you. Okay? That is scalping. You're gouging people. I know the market sets the prices on places like eBay and stuff like that, but that's what the term means, scalping, okay? Like I said, they had the Hot Wheels, fine. Then they came out and started doing the treasure hunts. Like if you look at the first treasure hunt, which happened to be a Camaro, that thing goes for $1,400 to $1,500 constantly. And they were hard to find, like today's supers are. They were hard to find. So what people started doing was getting really friendly with store employees, trying to get that hookup, leaving their phone numbers. Could you please, I collect, I do this, I do that, and leaving their phone numbers and stuff like that. Well, it was compounded astronomically when COVID hit. And I'll get to the point of this video here in just a second. I'm trying to show you how things have gotten. It was compounded with that. And, people weren't getting to work. There was just so many issues because production was non-existent because of COVID restrictions. And it was crazy bad. So when they finally did start lightening some of this stuff and actually did start shipping, in this case, the Hot Wheels out, you had people paying people at the stores to call them whenever they came in, paying for backroom access, had family members that worked there, store employees started working, well, why are you doing that? And then when they saw that you could make profit, you've actually got people on on YouTube, doing stupid videos saying, oh, I paid cash, brand new Tesla from selling Hot Wheels, or I make $7,000 a month selling Hot Wheels. Yeah. So now you've got all these people that are locked up at home, trying to make ends meet, doing whatever it takes to try to get a hold of these cars, right? So then, if you could take this car, and I understand it, I understand it. If you could take this car, 99-cent car, if you can find it, and sell it for $100, wouldn't you? Now that's what today's going prices for are them and everything. Back when they had the treasure hunts, $20 to $40 was the typical average. Every once in a while on the tail end, before they came out with the supers, you might see one like for $80 or so. But now they're $100, $200, $300 constantly. When a new one comes out, everybody's got to have it. So, and here's the problem. And Mattel knows they have this problem, but they seem like they don't care. And I'm going to share a video clip that I personally took at the Legends Tour to prove this point. And I may try to throw in a couple more clips to prove it as well, because you see it all over YouTube. But anyhow, distribution is still off. Here we are in 2024. COVID was in 2020. It should have been caught up by now. But they have created this craze over wanting this, right? I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody really cares about these anymore, the regular treasure hunts. I do. I personally think they look better. But nobody wants them anymore. It's all about that super. Got to get that super, that super, that super. Or if your area is being dry for 2 or 3 years, you know, if you're a serious collector, or you're like me and you do customs and stuff, you know, you've got to get those castings, because if I can take this car, turn it into something different and sell it for $100, you know, with a little bit of work, paint, maybe decals, different engine, well, there's my week's worth of groceries, you know. Well, back then it was. Now you you wouldn't be able to buy 1 bag of groceries for that. Thank you, Joe. But anyhow, that's a different story. So the reason I'm thought about making this video, and I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm getting brain locked, but I'm hearing it more and more and more, especially at these events like the Legends Tour. You know, people go in, they're looking for the new castings, because typically that's where they're going to drop them in. It's the Legends Tour. You know, it's always hooked up with Walmart. They're in the Walmart parking lots. Walmart will have, like the Walmart in Monroe, Charlotte. They had, I think, 6 triple dump bins right down the middle of the floor. And it was so out of control. People were actually taking the boxes off of the buggy, off of the cart, as the employees are wheeling them around, and ripping them open and going through them. I mean, before they ever made it to the dump bins. It's like, you know, if you're a drug dealer, you sit there and you give freebies, get them started. Hey, that's pretty good. You know, I like you, this and that. So, you know, here you go. Sell, sell, sell. And then all of a sudden, I want to go up on my price a little bit. So then you start holding back. So we still have a distribution problem. COVID is no more, thank goodness. But that's, I mean, it's still around. There's variations around and all that. But that's not what this is about. But that craze, the way people do it, the hoarders and the scalpers, they're going to get in there. They're going to run to those bins, and they're going to be standing right there. They're going to, it's like being first in line for NFL tickets or something, or like when the new Air Jordans drop. You got people camping in line for days waiting for those shoes to drop or those tickets to drop, you know. So these guys have got their spot. You're not going to get in that spot. And they're going to stand right there, and they're going to get everything good that comes out of there. Everything. They're not concerned with you back there, the real collector. I can't tell you how many people I heard, even in the line waiting on the RLC car, standing in line, people talking about with family members or friends, they were paying, they were getting their friends to buy the car, and they were standing there talking in line waiting to get these cars, talking about how much they're going to sell it for when they get home. They're not collectors. It's running to hobby Mattel. It really is. Why did that get dark in that? I don't want to brighten back up. There we go. But you know, it's all fun and games, right? Standing back watching this, I don't even go in. I don't even go in. And this is what made me start thinking about it. I heard a lot of people outside talking about the same thing. I wouldn't go in there if you paid me or you gave me the whole case or anything. They just don't want to deal with the hassle. They don't want to deal with the madness. And it's all fun and games, right? Until somebody gets hurt. Because you see the fights breaking out on YouTube, like I said. Now, if I think about it, I'll put a clip or two. But you see the fights breaking out. There's one video where a guy finds a super and he's holding it up. Mistake number one, he's holding it up, like, look what I found, walking back through the crowd. And one guy just walks up and grabs the card and just crushes it. I mean, just crushes it. Like, well, if I can't have it, neither can you, And Mattel thinks it's funny. They really do. And I know that they think it's funny because as we're sitting there waiting for the winner of the car show to be announced, they actually made a joke about it on stage.
So with that said, let's pick the winner. And yeah, there were no fights today, so that's good. So with that said, let's pick the winner. And yeah, there were no fights today, so that's good.
Made a joke about, well, it's been good so far, it hadn't been a fight. Why would you make a joke about that? Why do you feel like it's funny? And, in this day and age that we live in, somebody's going to take it a step further than that eventually. God forbid. But through these videos that you see on the internet and everything, Mattel, you can be held responsible. You see this going on. And eventually somebody's going to get shot. They're going to lose their life because of it. And that's going to be horrible. That's going to be very horrible. But everybody that I talk to is like, well, there's nothing you can do. Why, Actually, there is. You guys are the only one that do this, right? You advertise that you have this car. You let it leak out how many cases you have to go through to try to find it. So you got people coming in the stores, going in the back stock rooms without employees. No, there's another problem. Somebody's going to get hurt in that stock room, But anyhow, that's a whole nother story. How do you get rid of it? How do you get rid of this problem? Don't have the drops on Legends Tour Day. I know it's all about Hot Wheels. I know that it's Mattel's show. I know all that. But that's the only way you're going to fix this problem at the shows. Because I'm telling you, somebody's going to get seriously hurt. And that's going to be a big problem. Just don't do it. Either that or come up with some kind of system. Well, Walmart could do it themselves. They could come up with some kind of system, the bands that go on your wrist, Purchase the band, gets you inside a certain amount of time. You get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. And then after that, you're out. Next person gets to go in. And then every so often, dump some new ones in, right? I mean, that's just an idea. But the biggest thing is just don't have the dumps like that at the shows. Because it's a mess. And Mattel knows it. I'm going to be honest with you. No car, no toy is worth me getting shot. No toy is worth somebody losing their life over. I'm just going to leave it at that. But they know they have a problem. They know it. And they laugh about it. That's the sad part. And my thing is I'm to the point, the more and more I think about it, do I even want to do business with a company that thinks that highly of me? Or thinks that highly of you? At what point is enough enough? And with that stated, I'm going to get off here. Sorry, I know that it's a little long, 17 minutes. But it's something that Mattel really needs to get a handle on. I don't know how to fix it. these guys are a lot smarter than me. Make more. Make them more available. Make them more readily available. You know, rather than one every 17 cases, put it one every 5 cases. These guys that collect supers, they don't like the cars. They just like the fact that they're limited and they've got the inside scoop to where they can get them. You know, it's just a mess. But anyhow, get out there and hunt. You don't hunt, you can't find. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Thanks for watching.